it's ergonomically nice to feel lovely in your hands. That's one thing to feel like that. Think, oh, this feels nice. I like this new phone, or I like. But actually, to fall in love with something like a drum kit, how do you take that the next step? You know, where if you fall in love with something, what did you take it to bed?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
How did that work?
I didn't take the whole lot to bed. I took one of them to bed. But you know, I just like to cuddle them, and that just like a teddy bear.
So did you sort of humanise it in a way? I mean, was the drum kit a he or she, or did it have a name? So it's just
no, it was an it.
It was just an it.
Yeah, a drum and an it. I didn't actually give it a name or anything.
So were you surprised by when you suddenly looked at this drum kit and thought, oh, when you have that sort of... I mean, I can only imagine it's the same feeling as when I would meet a man and think, oh, he's rather attractive, and it's that same feeling. Were you surprised you were having that feeling about an object?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And did you try and suppress it at first?
No, I never did, because I thought, well, it's natural for me. Maybe I'm just meant to be this way, even though I didn't know anybody else. For years I went without knowing a soul, anybody else who loved objects, and I just felt like I was on my own.
What did the drum kit do to make you fall out of love with it? I mean, how did that relationship falter?
It didn't actually do anything. It's just that Lady Liberty barged in, sort of thing.
So you were unfaithful to the drum kit. So you saw a picture of Liberty. I mean, you must have seen the Statue of Liberty a number of times. Was there one specific image which made you think, Liberty, you've stolen my heart?
It wasn't one particular image, but I just love the way that she looks, and I love what she stands for. I love the history. I love everything about her.
Which I can understand that. This is something that symbolises something that you feel very positive about. That's great. But and a lot of people, I've been to see it. I've stood right at the very top there, in underneath that crown. But I didn't love her. I didn't fall in love with her. And you've actually said that you would marry her, but you feel it's a little bit selfish for other people who feel the same way that you do. What is the love affair?
Oh, I love her. I don't think I've got the right to marry her because she doesn't belong to me. She's not mine, and I don't want to do anything that nobody else would do. You know, what I would love to do is to sit at the bottom on the sides near the railings at the edge of the island and just watch the sunset with her, hear the sounds. It's very important for me to hear the sounds of the waves, to smell the city. I can smell the city from there. I love the sounds of the boats going past. You know, it's things like this that I tune into a lot more.
Well, the trouble is that with Liberty is that it is such an enormous monument that you can't put your arm round it and watch the sun go down like you could with a drum kit. But you can only get so close because it's so gigantic. You can't bring it home with you.
That's right.
So you've got sort of little versions of Liberty, who you call Libby, don't you? So you've got little versions of Libby. You've even made this. This is your which you've put little lights in, and you've made that. And I mean, does that suffice? I mean, is that enough? Or I mean, is that the same as having the real thing?
Well, obviously, it's not the same as having the real thing. It's not the same as being able to travel to New York and see it for real. But you know, I know I can deal with what I can get when I'm at Liberty Island with her. You know, I can be satisfied to look at her. I can be satisfied to go and visit a crown like everybody else, you know, and I do like to put my hand out and touch the hair. But then, you know, I'm happy to come home back to England again, and I've got my own statues at home that I can connect with, and I can make a connection with her through them.
Is there a sexual attraction?
I'd say there is an intimate attraction to her, but that is only a very small part. A lot of the part is how she makes me feel and what she's done for me. She reciprocates to me. She doesn't put her arms around me, but she makes me feel really good inside, and she's held me on with my life.
How has that
So
affected
many
your
good
relationships with people, with men, boyfriends?
Well, they haven't liked it, but that's understandable, you know.
Because you did have a 2-year relationship with a man, didn't you?
Yeah.
And he found it very tricky. So I guess it's like being in it's almost a bit of a threesome going on, because it must have been very confusing for him. If you're spending more time with Libby than with him.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, I followed my heart. My heart told me to go with Lady Liberty, you know, and I think that's more important than anything else, really.
Okay, this is not the first time this has happened, and as we say, this is objectum sexuality, so it is a medical term. Some other examples, we've got Asia Berliner Mauer. She's in Sweden. She is the first person we think that actually came out and discussed this, and she went public in 1998. She fell in love with the Swedish Red Fence, and she's now married to the Berlin Wall. Amy Wolf fell in love with an amusement ride in Pennsylvania. She sleeps with a picture of that on her ceiling. So tell me about this.
Well, one thing we need to be clear on, that it's not really a medical condition, it's an orientation. And there are many people that find it quite upsetting when we say it's a condition. And what it is that people form a strong emotional connection with objects.
As long as they're happy, they're not hurting anyone. So I guess you kind of got to go, right, there's, as we've said, there's many different colours on the sexual spectrum, or whatever spectrum it may be.
Absolutely, Holly. And I think we as psychologists, we're still trying to understand.
Yes.
And, looking at the case of Amanda, how she's formed this relationship, you think, well, what happened in her childhood? And, lots of things happen in our childhood. But one thing that does come out with objective sexuality is the link with Asperger's. Not everyone has Asperger's, but there are a number of people who have come out with it that have Asperger's. And we might say, why do Asperger's individuals have objective sexuality? One of the things about Asperger's is that they don't form social relationships.
Right.
We call it an impairment, but it's a difficulty that they have. So forming a relationship with an object might symbolise something that they can trust.
I see.
So
it's reliable.
Absolutely.
But Amanda, you are completely happy. This is your life, and you're totally happy with where it is.
Yes, I am. I couldn't be happier. I've lived with her since last year, since June. We've got our own flat together. On an official scale, I live on my own, but unofficially, I live with her.
Yeah.
And since June, I've lost over 4 stone in weight because I've been so happy.
So you can't argue with that, can you?
You can't. She's happy. She's not worried about it. She did speak to me earlier on and say, well, I wonder why I formed this relationship. Yeah. And we all form things with different individuals.
Why do I stay in a bad relationship?
Absolutely.
Everybody has those questions.
There's a history and a meaning to everything.
But other people that you've met and you've discussed this with, you say that there could be reliability issues at some time in their past. Human beings have let them down, and so therefore you are not going to be let down by something like this.
Absolutely. There's a link also in the sense of not being rejected, and they might have experienced rejection, i.e. that they had been adopted or in foster care. So there's so many angles to look at, and we just can't judge on Amanda's case because there are lots of cases of objective sexuality.
Yes. And for you, this is a long-term relationship. This is something that there isn't. It's not like the drum kit. Something came along and stole your heart away. For you, it's not going to be Big Ben.
No, hopefully it'll never change, but you never know what life is going to throw at you at the end of the day. But
and if a person was to come in and steal your heart, do you think you'd be able to put liberty to one side?
I wouldn't want to.
There we are. Very happy.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely fascinating.
Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Well, if you want more details on objectum sexuality, there are details of helplines on our website, itv.com/this morning.
We're back after the break when we're looking at how Mother's Day gifts could be in the future. We're back in a minute.